Hi folks, how's it going? My name is Jaxsun. We're going to run through some of the changes coming to Frost with 9.15 and discuss in depth what the talent and legendary build should be for the spec if you're looking to push some high-end Mythic Plus content. Now, to figure out where we're going, let's start with where we were. In 9.1, Frost didn't receive any significant changes. Overall, the spec was considered to be in really great shape with really good damage, like ultimately both single target. If you're a 2-target cleaver, we were top in the charts as far as that goes, and have a really solid AoE damage profile, and that kind of showed up even in the Race to World First. We've seen Frost Mage and Fire Mage being used interchangeably. So really interested to see the different builds that and compositions that different teams were able to come through the MDI tournament. Now, what's really exciting is where Frost is going next. So Fire may have had a slight advantage in 9.1, but going into 9.15, this could be the patch specifically for Frost. Frost is seeing the icicle damage from icicles buffed by 12%, starting to see damage from Frostbolt buffed by 8%, and flurry damage buffed by 8%. So just straight damage buffs right across the board for Frost. Fire and Arcane didn't receive similar buffs. So really interesting to see those changes. From an AoE or target cap perspective, Arcane Echo actually had its hard target cap removed. That's applicable to Arcane. Frozen Orb for Frost deals specific damage right up until you get to 8 targets. So where that gets really interesting is in tier 6 here, when you're deciding whether you're going to go with Freezing Rain or Splitting Ice. Now, Freezing Rain can be really attractive if you're able to coordinate with your group and get a few packs of mobs effectively into the boss with you. You'll be able to line up your Freezing Rain and drop some really heavy damage there, like incredible. So definitely worth checking out. The only other basically item that had its AoE target cap removed was Glacial Fragments, which was just a rune carving power. So one other item to keep your eyes open for if you're considering which mage class to play, which for me, Frost has got to be the preferred option. I'm really excited to see where it goes. We kind of touched on talents, but like what we're going to recommend: Lonely Winter. So that's tier 1. Shimmer consistently for tier 2. Rune of Power for tier 3. Not a lot of changes here. Chain Reaction for tier 4. Tier 5, you can go with Frigid Winds. That's got some attractiveness. However, I normally stick with Ring of Frost. It'll depend on what your group composition is, but Ring of Frost typically treats me pretty well as a way to incapacitate a couple mobs, especially if our tank's going with more of a kiting strategy. Tier 6, we discussed it: Freezing Rain or Splitting Ice. Splitting Ice is where you want to go if you're going with smaller groups or smaller mobs that you're looking to knock off. Freezing Rain, get that coordinated with your group and you can make massive damage. And then finally, Tier 7, Thermal Void is the top talent here, regardless of whether we're talking Mythic Plus or even raiding talent. It's absolutely the way to go. Now, when we jump over to Covenants, Venthyr and Nightfae are kind of the two builds you will see a whole lot of utility out of. Venthyr is really attractive primarily for single target damage, but if we're talking specifically Mythic Plus here, Nightfae has a lot of value. Ultimately, their Covenant abilities reduce the cooldown on Icy Veins with Shifting Power. On top of that, you get multiple Frozen Orbs. And like what we had just discussed, if you're lining that up appropriately with Freezing Rain, you should be able to direct a tremendous amount of damage here. Getting some really good just synergies right across the whole toolkit. To me, it's the way to go, and I'll be really surprised if Frost isn't the best spec as far as mages go in 9.15. Alright folks, let me know your thoughts on that. Drop it down in the comments, hit subscribe, let me know the things I can do better or you'd like to see, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Alright, peace.